Some of you watching this video might think I'm mad or angry, but you're wrong. I'm livid. I am absolutely livid. I'm full of divine rage. I'm a fire that would burn down this entire forest if it lied to me. So what does it mean that I spent so many of my years lying to myself? Because that's the real divine rage I feel. This forest doesn't need to fear me because it doesn't wear masks. I'm the one. I'm the one who spent years wearing masks, shrinking myself to fit into a size that was palatable for the world and the people around me as I grew up. When I spoke from my authentic who I am, I was told by important figures in my life to be quiet. I was told that my voice made them feel stupid and that I was rude, that there was something wrong with me. I spent years of my life silencing myself because I grew up in a world that those who succeed socially, societally, are those who wear masks, are those who pretend, are those who tell each other what the other person wants to hear. That's what makes you likable here. But I got one question for you, and I'm speaking from the divine rage in me. Make no mistake about it. I want to be honest with you right now. Do not watch this video if you are not capable of being present with a piercing awareness that can see through this whole thing. If you can't be present, don't even bother listening, because you won't hear anything I'm saying. You'll miss all of it. You'll miss the truth that's underneath this. I am not the highest vibe. No, not here, not now, not this video. I am not the highest vibe. I am the authentic vibe. I am what is real. I am honest. I'm speaking from the place within me that is true. And I'm coming full out, and I'm barefoot, baby. I didn't wear shoes out here. You want to know why? Because it turns out that I was actually born with feet that if I just walked with them, the calluses would form on the bottom, forming natural shoes, and I could connect to the earth's frequency, which is what I was born to be able to do. But no, you put shoes on me, world. You told me I wasn't allowed to be barefoot. And when I took off my shoes, you said I was gross. You said I was wrong. You said, oh, there's that crazy guy. You know something else? I remember who I was before I was this guy right here, right now. Yeah, I really do. Full-on vivid memories. They've been spilling in because I've accessed a dimension within myself that gives me access to knowing far beyond the knowing that most of this world operates from. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. I'm not here to prove myself. I'm simply full of so much divine rage that I am unwilling to pretend anymore. I am unwilling to fit into the box that you want me to fit into. Yeah, I'm going to shake things up. Yeah, I'm going to burn things down because that's what my presence does. It's the truth that I've always been. And I'm sure that if you are present and you are here listening, you could understand why I might have had parents tell me not to speak with my true voice when I was young. People thought that I thought I was better than them, or that the way I spoke made other people feel stupid. I was told to be quiet and think before I speak about how the other person's going to receive what I'm saying. So let's actually look at this more honestly. Let's peel back the layers of this and just be straight up, because that's what I'm here to do. What you were really saying to me even though it sounded nice and was coated in sugar and had cherries on top and whipped cream and all the fixins that people love, was, Nathan, you need to be manipulative to other people. Don't actually be the real you. Instead, be manipulative. Instead, here's what I'm going to help you to understand, since you're a malleable child who's listening, and I think my job is to shape you. Here's what I'm really saying to you. You need to manipulate other people. Before you say something, you need to think how everybody else in the room is going to interpret you, and what's going to make them hear you, and what's going to make them like you. And somebody out there might say, well, this is practical social skills, and clearly this guy has none. Yeah, I get it. I'm here. I see myself. I'm witnessing all of this. I see the intensity that I am. I am not blind. And I know that I am the kind of vibration and frequency and power that stirs the pot of a world that worships illusion, that worships comfort. And I can see clearly that my presence pierces through the noise so profoundly that it makes people uncomfortable. But I've got news for you. It's not me that makes you uncomfortable. What you dislike about me, world, is that my presence makes your hiding uncomfortable. You cannot easily hide when I am here. You have to see yourself. You have to see the way you're living, how you are being manipulative and inauthentic, because you too are trying to fit into a world that you do not fit into. Let's just be real. We were not made, we did not come into this world to change ourselves to be what the world and the people around us and society asks of us. This is absolute nonsense. It is fucking ridiculous. And I will say nothing other about it than what is true. It is absolute nonsense. This is behavior that comes from the frequency scale. If we're going to look at this dualistically, we're talking about a reality, a society that has constructed and built itself from the frequency of fear and its need for control. And I have a message for any parents out there. No offense. I appreciate that my presence is pretty offensive. I get it. Like I said, I can see myself. I see who I am. I'm just simply at a point in my life where I'm just not going to play bullshit anymore. I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not just because people like me more or it makes me more palatable. If you can't appreciate the flavor of me, move on. I don't care. I'm going to be me regardless because it's who I am, and nothing can stop what is within me from expressing itself. Nothing, not anymore. Something in me has risen. My soul has screamed out. It has emerged and it has said, Nathan, all those sleepless nights you had, all those years you self-medicated, all that pain, all that anxiety, all that depression, guess what, Mr. Nathan? That's this guy's name, by the way. Hello, I'm Nathan. But no, I'm not. But I'll tell you about that in a moment. Why? Because it's full of activations, and I believe you will remember something about yourself if I share with you my genuine experience too. But it turns out that all those sleepless nights, all that anxiety, all that depression was really because I was not letting what is really in me express itself honestly. I was shoving it down because I was trained to shove it down, swallow it. Nobody wants to hear that, Nathan. Keep it in. People will judge you. People won't like you. Guess what, world? I don't care anymore. Someone might say I blew a fuse, but I say I've come into reality, and perhaps you're still living in the illusion. But if you're here and you're listening to this, then you obviously know that you are not a frequency match for the level of fear and control I am speaking about in this video. You would have quit out already. You wouldn't have been able to handle any of the vibration that I'm emanating right now. It would have just completely freaked you out, and you would have left. And you would feel very stirred up and uncomfortable, and you'd say, something about that guy makes me feel fear and pain. No, that fear and pain is already in you. My presence illuminates it because that's the kind of light that I am. And that's the kind of light that you are, my friend. That is the light that is within you. And I've got news for you. If you want to courageously step into the full embodiment of who you actually are, you need to drop any need whatsoever to be perceived or received in any sort of way at all. And I know that that goes against everything that you may have learned growing up, because we learn from a consciousness of survival, how to survive, how to fit in, how to just make it through to get to the next day. People are trying to make it through their lives. That's the collective right now. They're trying to just get through. How many people are actually living it, though? How many people are actually awake and here, authentically being who they are? I've tuned into the field and I can tell you there's about 14,000 people on the world, in the planet right now, who are actually here being who they are. 14,000. But there's about 1.7 million who are on the verge of fully breaking through, and you are one of them. I absolutely guarantee it. You are one of them. You could not be perceiving this conversation otherwise. Yeah, that means all the billions of other people are still living in fear. Many of them have gotten very good at convincing themselves that they are awake, but it's just a new level of story. It's just a new identity they've adopted. It's the same fear in disguise. Man, there's so much coming through here. Why? Because I'm full of divine rage. And it's not at you. And it's not even at the world. And it's not at my parents. And it's not at society. It's not. It may seem that way, but if you're really listening, you'll understand that the divine rage is really just about, why was I so afraid to be who I am? Why was I so afraid to be who I am? Why did I spend so many years hiding when everything in me was saying this is wrong? Going with what these people are saying, going with what the world is saying, it's wrong, it's not right. And just because the vast majority agree that it's right, doesn't make it right. My whole life has been like I'm sitting in a classroom and the teacher says, what's 2 plus 2? And every single kid in the class basically raises their hand and says 5. And in me, it's like, well, no, it's 4. But don't say that. Everybody's going to get mad. They're going to get mad. They're not going to want to be around you. They're going to say there's something wrong with you. They're going to try to put you on medication, and they're going to try to reshape you to be what they want you to be so that they can feel comfortable living in the answer they think is true but is absolutely bogus and built on fear and just nonsense. Now let me say something. I don't think everybody here is idiots. I want to be clear. I've been told many times in my life when I speak from this true voice within me, this is my true presence. Okay, I get it. I'm not palatable. No arguments there. But people have told me many times it seems like I think everyone's idiots. No, if I thought you were all idiots, I'd just be quiet and walk off into the woods, and I'd build myself a little hut, and I'd sit there and I'd dissolve into the nothingness that this whole reality has arisen from, because I could do that now. And that's what I did in my last life. If I thought you were idiots, that's what I'd do. But I know you're not idiots. I know that there are many of you out there who can actually hear me, who see me, who understand that there's something true, there's something real here, and it's you trying to speak to yourself and wake yourself up and shake out the illusion. And I understand you might be afraid. But here's the thing. You don't have to conquer your fears. You don't have to destroy your fears. You don't have to be fearless. That's never what it's been about. It's never been about destroying your fear. You just need to stop bowing to it. You just need to stop letting your fear be what influences the way you make decisions and live. I have fear too. Every video I make, I almost don't make it. But I don't bow to my fear. Why? Well, to be honest, I'm just done with it. I did it for many years. So I shame no one for how many years it takes them to stop doing it. I get it. I've lived through it myself. I've seen it now for what it is. So I don't blame you, and I don't judge you, and I don't think you're dumb. I just see what's actually in you, and I wish you'd let it through. It's just that simple. The only reason this world keeps turning on an axis of fear and control, and we see this ridiculous stuff going on in the world and the governments and all this just nonsense all around us. It's absolute nonsense. I mean, wake up. Look around and actually see what you're looking at. It's nonsense. The world is turning on an axis of fear and control because people like you aren't being who you really are. And you know that there is an extent to what I'm saying that is true and you need to hear. You know it. There's something in you that is so profound and so boundless, and it reaches far beyond what this world and the people around you understand. I get it. So you want to hush, hush, and keep it down, right? Because they're going to judge you. Your family will reject you, right? Nobody's going to understand. Like, I get it. I get it. But it's because of people like you that are actually awake from within, that are pretending to be asleep just so the world finds you more palatable. You're the reason the world keeps spinning on fear and control. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you want to see transformation take place in the world, which I know that you are a being who came here into this reality just like I did to anchor it in, then you need to stop being afraid and you need to start speaking from what is real in you. And it's just that simple. And for you, that doesn't necessarily mean making YouTube videos and just unleashing your divine rage in them like I am in this moment. Maybe for you it comes through song or art, or maybe for you it literally comes through your business that you work at. Maybe you're working at a restaurant and you anchor in that frequency there, and every people you talk to, each of your tables of your customers, you actually look at them and you're present with them. Maybe that's how you anchor it in. I can't tell you how divine truth wants to express itself through you. And I know the best thing is I don't have to, because it's been speaking to you and trying to speak through you in its special way with you your entire life. I could have been making these videos when I was 7 years old. Really. I didn't need to learn anything. I wasn't missing anything. I didn't have to take any classes. I didn't actually need to do years and years of meditation. You want to know what the years and years of meditation ended up actually showing me? I had everything I needed all along. Ha ha ha. Cosmic wink, hilarious joke. What I was looking for was me, and I was always here. I could have been myself this whole time, but I just kept waiting. I'll be myself once this, or once that. That's the illusion. It's bogus. I want to tell you something. Past expressions of your soul frequency are absolutely real. And if you're anything like me, which you absolutely are, or again, we could not be connected to this frequency, then you probably remember. You have knowing, you have ancient knowing in you from your past lives, your parallel experiences of your consciousness, of the presence that you are. You probably have knowing in you that makes no sense. How could someone like you know things like that when you never read books about it? You didn't have to go to school, you didn't have to do all this stuff, you just know. Because you do. This isn't your first time here. You're not some new baby of a being. You are ancient, you are timeless, you are infinite, you are boundless, you are multidimensional. And for me personally, in my last life, I vividly remember it now. And to be honest, it did come to me through meditation. The most hilarious thing is that so many times in my life, when I've been going through a hard time, I could feel in the field, beyond the dimension that most people see, there was this monk guy with the shaved head. And he was sending blessings to me and blessing my life. And I thought, this is literally what I thought there's like a temple somewhere where there's some like Zen monk or something, and he just tunes into the field and just like keeps blessing people. That's what I literally believed. I even told some of my friends that. There's some monk that keeps blessing me for some reason. I feel him. This is the most hilarious thing. That monk is my past life. I went so far beyond the vibrational frequency scale that I literally dissolved into nothingness. I'm talking complete immersion in sacred geometry, colors, codes, streams of data. You couldn't tell the difference between a stream and a rock and me, because I was everything and nothing simultaneously. And I lived my whole life in that space. And the people that shared the temple with me, visitors would come, they called me the silent one, because I never spoke. I never spoke to anybody. I lived in complete silence. Because the fact is, I'm going to be totally honest with you, everything I'm saying to you in this conversation, it comes distorted. Because the truth is only able to really, the full vibration of the truth, it exists in the silence, in the stillness. I'm not speaking to you from a concept, I'm telling you the truth right now. I've experienced it for myself, and that means you can pick up on the psychic frequencies and the projections that I'm emanating, these activations I'm sending to you to remind you of what you too already know within you. If I wanted to live in complete truth, like I said, I would walk out, I'd build a hut, and I'd live in it. And I would dissolve back into the nothingness. That's what I did in my monk life. That's my most recent experience. It's at least the one that comes to me the most. And I truly believe, and am beginning to see, that that's where so much of this information comes to me. It's why I've had the kind of wisdom I've had since I was a child that just didn't make sense. Because I'm an ancient being, this is not my first rodeo. And guess what? You want to know why this life is full of me just blah, blah, blahing all the time in these videos? Because my entire last experience was me living in absolute silence. And I reached into the deepest depths of consciousness itself, and I merged with Source, with God, with the Godhead, whatever. People call this different things. It doesn't matter. I entered into the stillness so deeply that I dissolved. And I stood at this vibrational doorway. And I remember it's with me because I'm awake and I'm here and I can feel it. And I called out, and this reality rang back like a vibrational bell, picking up on my frequency, because a desire in my being was born. I spent my entire life being quiet, exploring the higher dimensions and inner dimensions and lower dimensions of consciousness. And I found everything I was looking for to come to this point where I dissolve into nothingness and my being emerges a new desire to share, because I didn't share anything with anyone in my past life. I lived in complete silence and stillness the whole time. And I desired that I would share everything, that I would come back and I would share the frequencies and I'd share the vibrations and I'd share the activations, and this time I would stay in my body and I would fearlessly speak. And it took me 28 years. I'm about to turn 28 on June 8th. So I'm not quite 28 yet, but soon. It took me 28 years to remember who I am. But said more accurately, it took me 28 years to stop shoving down my remembering, because that's what made the world around me comfortable. I have a message for any parents out there. Your job is not to shape or mold your children. It's not. It's to let them be. Let them be who they are. You may think you're helping by shaping and molding them, but you're teaching them from survival consciousness. Let them be who they are, because they are pure beings of Source expressing itself. And they came here with a unique purpose and a gift in them. And your shaping them will cause them trauma that takes many people their entire life to actually see. And most people don't see it until they're on their deathbed and realize, holy shit, I spent my entire life being someone that wasn't actually me. Fuck. Better luck next time. I'm not saying this to scare you, because you're an infinite being and you'll have many more lives, I tell you this truly. But you must be who you are now in this life. And I know it's hard sometimes to release that programming, to release those things. And if you are truly ready to step deeper into the portal of awakening and remembering who you are, that's exactly why I created this new live transformation experience. It's an online event. It's limited seating to keep it intimate, to keep it real, so we can actually talk together real time and work with one another. If that sounds interesting to you, check the description of this video. I have that link tagged, as well as a special community space on Patreon. Only for those of you who feel such a deep, obvious resonance with me in these videos that you know you hold the flame. You came here with activations and frequencies, and you're just at that verge, you're at that tipping point, and you're ready to be who you are unconditionally too, just like me. That's what that Patreon space is for. Exclusive videos, transmissions, channelings, monthly live stream events, working together, a special Telegram group for us to communicate. It's stuff not accessible here on YouTube, and it's a great way to support the content that we make here on Vibes and Frequencies as well. Those are tagged in the description, my friends, and remember, you already have within you everything that you need. It isn't out there. You're not missing anything. You've never been broken. These were concepts taught to you by a world that was confused and thought it was broken. But the truth is that everything is perfect, but the gear hasn't been greased for a long time now, and it's trying to turn. But people are afraid of what will happen if we let go. Stop resisting and let the gears of the universe work as they were always designed to. AKA, you being who you are, me being who I am, and both of us leaving each other alone. Let's let ourselves be who we are and let each other be. Am I right? Thank you. Much love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you there.